Hello. Um, Here is a video from me, Solutions Over Fiction. That's my YouTube name. And today we're going to be talking about what is the difference between a black liberal and a black conservative. Well, it's not, we differ on a lot of different topics. The first topic is on the topic on race. The black liberal feels that race determines everything. The black conservative feels that self-accountability determines everything. Prayer, God, and things of that nature. So that's pretty much the difference on that. Okay, we'll talk about the issue of police brutality. Now, I may side with common sense on that one. Personally, I don't believe that police brutality is a big problem in America today, but I do believe that there should be better police training for the police, and there also should be a push to try to better the black community. Bring in, families should be restructured and restored. There should be, black people should be more focused on, black business ownership, black home ownership, and things of that nature. And morals and values should be back in the black community. And there should be better police training and things of that nature. But on this issue, I'm a solutionist. Now, black liberals, they feel like that's the biggest problem in this country is police brutality. Black conservatives, sometimes, and I would have to somewhat disagree, will kind of act like, it doesn't really exist. But I'm going to tell you why they have those stances, why they carry those stances. Okay, if a black liberal comes into interaction with a police officer, it's totally different than what the black conservative would do. Black liberal will probably yell and scream at the police, try to fight them, try to have an attitude. Because, as black people, most of us are taught to hate the police because of the history of the police. So we were taught growing up to hate the police. Black conservatives were like, okay, we follow the orders, put your hands up, whatever. I'll tell you a situation in my life that I have experienced dealing with the police. And one of them involved a gun. My uncle, he's a very liberal guy. He believes strongly in the Second Amendment, and he lives in the state of Georgia. So it was about 2015. I'm, just graduated from high school, going there to try to promote my children's book or whatever. And he took off really fast. He was in his little sports car, it's a two-seater. He took off really fast. And the police wound up pulling him over. The police pulled us over, and they said on the intercom, "Put your hands up." Me and my uncle, we both put our hands up. The police came over to the car. His window was already rolled down, and they saw the gun in the console. We followed the orders of the police. They got the gun. They went back to the police car. They ran his weapon. Come to find out, all that was cleared. They gave him back his gun. They wrote him a ticket. We went on our way. Now, if it would have been a black liberal, was my uncle is very liberal. The only thing he's conservative on is indeed the Second Amendment rights. But everything, he's a socialist and all that, But it was smooth, It was smooth. So our differences are way different. Me, a black conservative, them, a black liberal, is different. I may not really see police brutality personally in my life. It could happen. But because of my attitude towards the police, I don't look at them as these angry white people that's out trying to get me whatever. So I really don't put up this angry wall trying to come out and be angry towards them or whatever. I follow the orders. I do what I have to do. Now, if something racist happens or whatever, I'm going to, get their badge number, whatever, but that's pretty much about all. I'm not going to try to fight them or do whatever. If I wind up, I've never been arrested, but if I ever got arrested for, you know, racial discrimination or whatever, I'll wait until I get into the you know, whatever, the police car, and I go to jail or whatever, then I get out, and then I solve it from there. I talk about the issue then. I'm not going to say, you know, let me go surrender, let me cuss them out, let me do this, let me do that, you know. No. So we're two totally different people when it comes down to that. And going back to the issue on race, like I pretty much already made that, you know, I already made that, you know, point there, that they are more based off of, you know, they feel that race determines everything. Black conservatives, we don't feel that. We feel that actions, accountability, you know, that's how we stand. We believe firmly in God, and we stand with God, and God says, you know, a man who don't work is a man who don't eat, and we hold ourselves accountable. We don't look at race, and we, you know, as black conservatives, we acknowledge that racism happened in this country. And we acknowledge that, you know, well, I acknowledge that, you know, like you may have little small pockets, very small pockets of racism, but it's not a problem like it once was in the 1960s. So that's kind of where we differ. Another thing, you know, decision making. You notice that black conservatives may be more successful than black liberals. Going back to this thing on race or whatever, you know, I mean, you know, that argument, it can go for an hour, 2 or 3 hours, a few days, few weeks, or whatever, you know, that argument can go. So that's kind of where we differ. And politically, we black conservatives, we see things as what they are. Like, for example, when it comes down to, you know, socialism, you know, we understand that socialism can't exist without capitalism. We understand that the black community can't move forward without family, without morals and values, without home ownership, business ownership. We understand that. We understand that capitalism is pretty much what lives a lot of people out of poverty. I mean, look back in the days, in the 1930s and stuff like that, black America was fairly capitalist because they owned lots of small businesses and stuff. A black liberal kind of feels that they should be given everything. And when it comes down to politics, liberals are emotionally, you know, that's kind of how, you know, they're very emotional people. Black conservatives are very logical. We're very logical people. We look at, okay, the substance. I'm more of a solutionist, constitutionalist, conservative, think a lot. You know, that's pretty much what I am. So we differ differently. We look to solve the problems. The black liberal looks to capitalize off of the history of the problems. So we're two totally different people. And you understand why being black and conservative, while we will have more money, while we'll be more successful, because we're not really focused on white people like that. I mean, I and other conservatives that are black, and some who are white, acknowledge the problem that, hey, black people wasn't treated fairly in this country. People on both sides acknowledge that. But the liberals, they will capitalize on it. And I'm thinking to myself like this. Okay, if a person don't want you to be successful as a black person, the thing that they're going to tell you is white people are the problem. They're not going to say, okay, you're the problem. Then, you know, they're going to say, oh, well, America's the problem. Okay, well, your families are divided, you know. They're not going to be honest with you and tell you the truth with the issue of, nothing that equals up to solutions. Because the thing with the left is they want you to blame white people, while they constantly sit there and tell you that you can't get anywhere. And that's kind of how that goes. And as black people, and all people, we should be thinking about, self-accountability. And I think America will become a much better place. And the thing with a black liberal and a black conservative, Liberals are very angry. Like, you know, they're mad. They're upset. They're upset at white people. They're upset at everything. A black conservative, you know, we happy. We happy folks. Because we see solutions. We see ways out. We see things being done. You know, Trump has done prison reform. Trump has done the lowest black unemployment. He has passed tax relief, giving the ability for those jobs to come back to America. It's sort of like a Reagan, you know, a second round of Ronald Reagan's administration or whatever. He has, you know, done that really good. And he's, you know, working on urban revitalization and everything. And Trump did not receive anything but 8% of the black vote. He got almost none of the black vote. But he has done more for black people than Democrats have. And we talk about the issue of Trump being pro-life. I think that is a step, you know, that's pro-black also. You know, I don't understand, you know, and that's another thing with black liberals and black conservatives. We defer on the issue of, you know, life. Black liberals, they kind of believe in just killing babies. Although, you know, a large percentage of those babies have been black. 18 million, to be exact, or a little bit higher, because that was probably a few years ago when that came out. Or maybe somewhere in that ballpark. But 18 million black babies have been killed by Planned Parenthood. We defer on that issue. We like, okay, the reason why the black population only make up 13% of the population is because of Planned Parenthood, some pushed by the Democrat Party. And you take that argument and you push that argument with them, they're going to get angry with you. They're going to get mad. So we defer. I will say the different, you know, what describes a black liberal is they're very problematic. What describes a black conservative is we're very solutionistic. That's probably not even a word, but you see where we're coming from. A black liberal believes in single-parent households. A black conservative believes in family. We believe in family, and that's where we firmly stand. You know, they believe that, oh, you know, so-and-so can raise that kid by herself. You know, and it's very big in the black culture that that's being pushed. And the difference between the black conservative and the black liberal is the black liberal only looks at history without even looking at the party that they support. You know, black conservatives, we are conservative because of policies and politics. We look at the Civil Rights Act. We look at all those, you know, championed predominantly by Republicans. We look at where black America was. When black America was fairly conservative, we did really well. You know, our wealth was nearly the same as white people's wealth. And on that argument from my, I'm going to cover that in the next video. But we defer on a lot of different things, you know. And that's what makes us different. That's why we get called coon. Excuse me. That's why we get called all these terrible names, because we don't really agree with them. And liberals know the way to hold black people back is to continue to push this race narrative, push this narrative that black people can't get anywhere. That's the way how you hold black people back all the way. It's telling them, oh, well, your problem is because of white people. You know. And I'm going to cover some of those other topics regarding reparations and how I feel about those topics. Equal pay, you know, break that down, how I feel about those topics. Why do black people vote Democrat? Talk about those issues. And what else am I supposed to be talking about? But that's pretty much all. You know, please share, subscribe if you watch this video. But thank you.